Have you ever thought to yourself, gee, I'd love to know everything about those rad little critters called arthropods? Of course! So listen up and I'll cram you full of knowledge because this video is going to be all about arthropods. Well, first off, you're probably thinking, what the heck is an arthropod? Well, arthropods are organisms that are part of the phylum Arthropoda. They're the largest and most diverse phylum in the entire animal kingdom. They make up 84% of the Earth's organisms, with insects making up 70% of that. That's a lot of bugs. There is 4 main types of arthropods: arachnids, crustaceans, insects, and myriapoda, which are millipedes and centipedes. First, we're going to talk about their morphology. Arthropods have a jointed skeleton which is composed of chitin. Chitin is a super complex sugar-bound protein which makes up their exoskeleton. The tough exoskeleton also provides protection from the environment. It's like bug body armor. Arthropods also have an open circulatory system which consists of a heart and a system of arteries that could be very limited like in insects or extensive like in crabs. Cool! Most arthropods are small animals. Only aquatic forms are able to get to substantial sizes such as the island coconut crab. Terrestrial arthropods, on the other hand, don't grow very large. Bummer. Due to their hard exoskeletons, arthropods do not grow the same as other organisms. They undergo a process called exedesis, or molting, where they periodically shed their skin. The underlying cells release enzymes that digest the base of the old exoskeleton, and out comes a new exoskeleton from beneath the old one. Through molting, their bodies grow. Some arthropods, such as most spiders and insects, stop molting when they reach sexual maturity, but others, like lobsters and crabs, molt throughout their entire lives and never stop growing. Molting is what gives arthropods the ability to regenerate any limbs that they've lost. But for more unfortunate species that stop molting after a certain age, they may be stuck without a limb for the rest of their lives. A steroid hormone is secreted by specific endocrine centers and circulated in the blood and is the direct initiator of molting. Arthropods undergo a long preparatory phase because of how stressful molting can be. If something goes wrong, the organism could get stuck or even die. The actual timing of a molt, however, is regulated by other hormones and most commonly environmental factors. And the interval between molts is called an instar. Because of the frequency of molts, instars are short early in their life, but become longer with increasing age. Next up is the ecology of arthropods. Arthropods live in every type of habitat that exists on Earth. Some of them are aquatic, some are terrestrial and live on land, and others even live high off the ground. They're everywhere. Terrestrial arthropods can include myriapods like centipedes and millipedes, which live beneath stones and logs and leaf mold. As for aquatic arthropods, The sea has remained the domain of the crustaceans. Crustaceans are mostly marine. However, there are many arthropods, like crayfish, that have invaded the fresh water. Next is arthropods that live underground. Some insects have evolved a major habit for burrowing, like crickets and ants, but the largest burrowers are crustaceans. There are many species of crabs that burrow in the soft marine sand, and various species of shrimp that create elaborate burrows below the bottom surface. Did you know that arthropods are the only invertebrates that are capable of flight? This helps many types of arthropods to live on trees and obtain their food. Many insects such as bees and wasps are arboreal and are able to build their hives and nests on trees due to this ability of flight. Other arthropods such as the arboreal tarantulas and insects also live in higher planes such as trees, as that provides the optimal shelter and food access to them. Next, why are arthropods so important? Since arthropods make up 84% of the world's species, you can basically say that the world runs on them. They are prey, predators, and also decomposers. One reason they're so important is because they provide food for many animals. Many small-sized species of crustaceans, particularly copepods, serve as food for other invertebrates, fish, and even whales. As for food for humans and other animals, larger crustaceans like shrimps, lobster, and crabs are used as food throughout the whole world. Arthropods are also an enormous benefit to human agriculture due to pollination. Approximately 2/3 of all flowering plants are pollinated by insects. Soil and leaf mold arthropods, which includes insects, mites, myriapods, and some crustaceans, play an important role in the formation of humus from decomposed leaf litter and wood, which is crucial for plant growth. However, it's also worth mentioning that they can be very harmful. Arthropods are more significant as carriers of very scary diseases, such as malaria, yellow fever, the bubonic plague, and even Lyme disease. That's a lot of diseases. Parasitic arthropods like ticks and mites are responsible for transmitting many of these diseases to domesticated animals, which end up being transmitted to humans. Evolution of arthropods. The formation of an exoskeleton required arthropods to evolve to fix an issue which arose. If the animal is encased in a solid covering, then how can it grow and how can it move? The problem of growth is solved in arthropods by molting or exedesis, the periodic shedding of the old exoskeleton, as I've mentioned before. Arthropods are divided into two large groups which share the same common ancestors. Chelicerata, which includes sea spiders, horseshoe crabs, spiders, scorpions, and Mandibulata, which includes myriapods, insects, and many species of crustaceans. Arachnid evolution. Scorpions have the largest number of primitive arachnid features, which means that they haven't evolved as much. Spiders and mites have become the most evolved, where all the abdominal segmentation that they used to have has become lost and their bodies have fused into one abdomen. Insect evolution. Ancient insect fossils found around 400 years ago still maintain similar structures to modern-day insects. Their bodies were divided then into a head with antenna, a thorax, and the abdomen, and even wings were found in their fossils. But as the environment changed, insects have developed diverse mouth shapes and limbs. It's generally agreed that insects are more closely related to myriapod groups due to their physical similarities. There are many species of insects which are only known through fossils or considered extinct. Knowing that we only know of 1 million species out of a possible 5 million species of insects, some of them may still be out there undiscovered. As for crabs, there is an interesting phenomenon called carcinization, where many species of crustaceans always end up evolving into the shape of a crab. Carcinization is a great example of convergent evolution. Lobsters, shrimps, and crabs all evolving into adopting the same traits, hinting that the ideal body shape for animals that live in such aquatic environments is the body shape of a crab. You may have thought that an animal such as the king crab is a crab. However, it's actually part of a group called false crabs. It's just another organism which has evolved to adopt crab-like traits. Well, that is all for this topic. I could go on and on for hours, as arthropods are a very complex and diverse phylum consisting of millions of organisms. Their origins is still being studied, and new species are being discovered every single day, which is what makes them so amazing and thought-provoking. I'm curious to know which arthropod is your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. Fun fact: did you know arthropods can include carnivores, herbivores, detritus feeders, filter feeders, and parasites? Fun fact: did you know that arthropods can live in very extreme environments? Many crustaceans have been found to live in sea depths exceeding 4,000 meters, which is around 13,000 feet. While there has also been insects and jumping spiders found in Mount Everest. And many arthropods, especially insects and arachnids, live in very hot deserts.